Hi and welcome back to Cut the Craggle. Today we're going to be counting down my top 10 DC LEGO minifigures. This video was suggested by Sir Brickelot, and in this vid I'm going to be taking a slightly different approach. We'll be exploring not just the minifigures, but through the comics, games and movies, what makes these characters so special to me. Number 10. I never imagined that LEGO would produce a Jason Todd minifigure. Long before he became the Red Hood, Jason was the second Robin, taking over the role after Richard Grayson became Nightwing. Jason was far more reckless and hot-headed than the original Robin, and this proved to be unpopular with fans, prompting DC to hold a telephone poll in 1988 on whether the character should be killed off. The result saw Jason tragically betrayed by his long-lost mother and brutally murdered at the hands of the Joker. But in 2005, a newly resurrected Jason was revealed as the Red Hood, a new player in Gotham that had been killing crime bosses and seizing control of the criminal underworld. Since his initial return, Jason has transitioned from being a thorn in the side of the Bat family to more of an outside ally and reluctant anti-hero. That said, it's still shocking that LEGO would even consider the character suitable to be made into a minifigure, but that's exactly what happened in the Killer Croc Sewer Smash set. And since then, he's even starred in a LEGO DVD movie, although they did sidestep around him being murdered.
I thought you were dead! You said I was dead?
Jason Todd is such a complicated and interesting character, so as unlikely as it seemed, it is great that LEGO decided to make a minifigure of him. Number 9. This one isn't quite as a surprising choice for LEGO, if you consider this to be based on the original Batman of Zur-En-Arrh. First appearing in 1958 in a story titled Batman, the Superman of Planet X, the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh is another Batman from a different world across space with superhuman abilities. It was pretty much a one and done story, during the sillier times of Bat comics when the writers seemed to have a bit of an obsession putting Batman in a bunch of different brightly coloured costumes. When Grant Morrison took over writing the Batman comic in 2006, he began referencing classic moments from the old comics, including hidden mentions of the phrase Zur-En-Arrh. Finally, in Batman R.I.P., it is revealed that the Zur-En-Arrh persona is a backup personality created by Bruce Wayne in the event he ever succumbed to a psychological attack. The Batman R.I.P. saga is one of the best Batman stories ever told, but it's not exactly LEGO friendly, which leads me to suspect that this is meant to be a representation of the more playful Golden Age comic. Except that curiously he has a baseball bat as an accessory, which is only ever used by the Morrison Zur-En-Arrh Batman. Number 8. Wonder Woman was easily the best thing to come out of the clustercluck that was Batman v Superman. Sadly, when it came around to her own standalone movie, we only got a single LEGO set, which was decent if inaccurate, but the minifig of Wonders was brilliant. Essentially the same print and pieces as the previous DCEU Wonder Woman minifigure, the colours were really amped up this time around, just like they were between the two movies. The result is the most detailed and well designed Wonder Woman minifig with gorgeous comic style colours that really pop out at you. At the moment, this is my favourite Wonders minifig, but I'm looking forward to seeing what LEGO produced for her Wonder Woman 84 costume. Number 7. Technically, this is more than just one minifigure, as they actually made two different coloured variants of Parademons for the sets based on the Justice League movie. The original Parademons were created by the legendary Jack Kirby in 1971. They are the monstrous shock troops of the Overlord Darkseid from the hellish planet Apokolips. Parademons actually first appeared on the big screen in Batman v Superman during Bruce Wayne's nightmare vision, before reappearing as Steppenwolf's lackeys in the Justice League movie. Despite an incredible design, they failed to make much of an impact in either of those movies, but LEGO did a magnificent job of translating them into minifigures. I love that they chose to keep the grotesquely detailed style of the movie Parademons, whilst using the classic colours of the Parademons' original appearance. Seriously though, look at the detail on these bad boys. It's absolutely insane. These are some of the most detailed minifigures I've ever seen, and they may be disgusting, but they're beautiful in their execution. Number 6. Judging by the internet, I must be one of the few people who actually really love this set. I personally think it was a great play and display set and captured the look of the old TV series and its characters wonderfully. In particular, the Joker. Cesar Romero refused to shave his distinctive mustache for the role, so it was always partially visible beneath the white face makeup throughout the show. In an inspired move, LEGO actually included this detail in the face print for this minifigure, perfectly capturing the iconic look of Romero's Joker. Another feature of this minifigure that I really like is that it shares the same hair mould as this set's Alfred, albeit in a different colour. For me, this instantly brought to mind Neil Gaiman's Whatever Happened to the Caped Crusader. It's a phenomenal what-if story based around Batman's funeral, where different characters recount multiple unique histories of Batman, his life and his death, including one where Alfred reveals that he was secretly the Joker all along. Number 5. DC has long had a rich history of legacy characters. In particular, there have almost been more Green Lanterns than I've had hot dinners. As a long fan of the Justice League animated series, John Stewart will always be my personal favourite. But there is one other member of the Green Lantern Corps that has found a way into my heart. Struggling with PTSD after witnessing the murder of her friends as a teenager, Jessica Cruz was possessed by the ring of Volthoom, which sought to exploit her trauma. After conquering her fears and breaking free of Volthoom's grasp, Jessica was chosen to be a Green Lantern. Created by Jeff Johns in 2014, Jessica has quickly earned her place as a fan favourite, and has already appeared as a main character in both a LEGO DVD movie and the superb Justice League vs. the Fatal Five. Even as a superhero, Jessica still suffers with survivor's guilt and severe anxiety, making her a very relatable character for many fans. So it's fantastic that LEGO acknowledged her importance in making such a brilliant minifigure of her. Number 4. Whilst not in the same tier as some of the more well-known DC heroes, Black Canary has had almost half a dozen different on-screen portrayals in the Arrowverse alone. But for me, the most iconic depiction of her was in Justice League Unlimited. So I was really excited when the LEGO Batman movie Series 2 minifigures were revealed. Her design is taken straight from the cartoon series, favouring a blue colour scheme over the black outfit she wears in the comics. And in perhaps a nod to her role in DC Bombshells as a singer, she even came with a microphone and stand, and this epic alternate expression. In 2020, Black Canary will be hitting big screens in Birds of Prey and the... I'm not saying all that. Well, it should be side by side with both Harley Quinn and Huntress. I always loved it when Black Canary and Huntress were thrown into the mix together in Justice League Unlimited. It's unlikely we'll be getting any LEGO sets based on the new movie, but it would be absolutely amazing if they finally made a Huntress minifig to go side by side with my Black Canary. Number 3. When DC killed off Superman just prior to their 2016 relaunch DC Rebirth, everyone knew it wouldn't be long before Supes was flying through the skies above Metropolis again. But what a lot of us probably didn't expect was Lex Luthor proclaiming himself as the new Superman. Wearing an advanced suit of armour that granted him superhuman abilities, Lex Luthor even went as far as wearing Superman's shield and cape. But little did Lex know, the true Superman from before the 2011 New 52 reboot was present in this world with his wife Lois Lane and their son, and still harbouring ill will towards his own world's version of Luthor, who was a proven villain and deceiver. He doesn't take too kindly to Lex taking up his mantle. One of the first released images of the LEGO DC Supervillains video game revealed Lex wearing this iconic armour, so I was hopeful that some version of this comic arc would be adapted for the game's story. Sadly, the costume turned out to be little more than an Easter egg that Lex wears with not much explanation for the game's final battles. My disappointment was lessened somewhat by the fact that LEGO actually released a physical minifigure of Lex in his Superman costume as a promotional polybag free with the game. Number 2. You might already recognise this minifigure if you've watched my top 10 worst LEGO sets with great minifigures video. The Court of Owls is one of my favourite Batman stories of recent years, and the design of this minifig is ripped straight from the pages of that comic. When he defeated their champion and escaped their deadly labyrinth, the Court of Owls retaliated by sending a whole army of Talon after Batman, attacking him at his home in Wayne Manor. Still recovering from being drugged and tortured for over a week, Bruce manages to fend them off just long enough to make it down to the Batcave, where he has a little surprise for these home invaders. Whilst the Bat Thrasher is a mechanised suit of armour that towers over a regular person, it's done here just as a standard minifigure, but I can forgive that, because the printing and design on this minifig is so ridiculously detailed and intricate. The metallic printing on gunmetal Lego looks superb, and I love the inclusion of an alternate head print for some vicious battle damage. The set itself may be an odd one, but this minifigure is one of my absolute favourites. Number 1. Surely by now this character needs no introduction. Although she may have started life as just the Joker's girlfriend, Harley Quinn is arguably now just as popular as the DC Trinity. We've had more than our fair share of Harley minifigs over the years. The Lego Batman movie gave us at least 3 different ones alone, but it was still a massive surprise when the Goliath Lego Movie 2 set, Welcome to Apocalypseburg, was revealed and we saw it included a minifigure of Harley in her Suicide Squad movie outfit. Even now the figure's inclusion still raises some eyebrows, but it's worth considering that this has been the most popular Halloween costume for the last 2 years since the movie was released. As a fan of the movie and Margot Robbie's excellent portrayal of the character, I absolutely adore this minifigure. The detail is excellent, with printing that goes right the way around her legs for her fishnet stockings, and I love that they included the Daddy's Little Monster text on her shirt. Sadly, this remains the only minifigure on this set I'm yet to own, but one day, this will make a fine addition to my collection. Those are my top 10 DC Lego minifigures. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, and if you haven't already, be a hero and hit that subscribe button. I'll see you next time. Laters.